A partnership between these two small cities may at first glance seem unlikely. Burlington, Vermont, located in the far north of the United States with its cold winters, hardwood forests, and close ties to Canada, and Thies-Est, Senegal, set in the dry heart of West Africa where baobabs and mango trees dominate the savanna. One place knows floods from climate change, the other droughts. One has a population that's aging, the other has one of the youngest populations in the world. And yet beyond these contrasts, the two cities share something essential, a strong commitment to democracy, to community, and to opening doors to the wider world. In February 2024, the Burlington City Council adopted a resolution creating a sister city partnership with Thies-Est. The same resolution was adopted a few months later by the Thies-Est City Council. So it was that in the summer of 2025, Burlington Mayor Emma Mulvaney Stanak authorized a delegation to travel to Thies-Est to meet their counterparts in person. 7 internationally minded Burlingtonians jumped at the chance to explore ways to turn the paper agreement into genuine human connection. Wendy Rice, with her deep background in the Peace Corps and international development, brought her vast experience to organizing both the journey and the official meetings. Jim Holway is a leader in nonprofits in the Burlington community, yet this was his very first trip outside North America. Major Jean Enriquez of the Vermont National Guard had visited Senegal 17 times on military and medical missions as part of Vermont's state partnership program. He's a seasoned Senegal hand. Ali Dieng formed the link between the two cities. He grew up in Thies-Est and now lives with his family in Burlington. Eric Añero, a journalist and former consultant to the Organization of African Unity, joined Linda Kine and myself, Janet Beal, on the documentation team. On August 10th, we disembarked at a Dakar airport, entering what was for some an unfamiliar world. But the warmth, music, and embraces offered by Mayor Diagne and his team made them feel welcome.
Made it. How was it? Excellent. Right? Yeah.
Wendy asked the mayor why the Thies-Est logo contains an image of a train.
Le quartier que le train traversait, il y avait des activités commerciales parce que le train s'arrêtait. Ça renvoie à la Dior, le plus grand héros. Premièrement, d'ailleurs, la ville a fait ériger une statue en son honneur. Vous pouvez inaugurer la statue qui a été érigée à Thiès en l'honneur de la Dior qui est le héros national.
Okay. A few months before our visit, in December 2024, Senegal's brand new youthful president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, had visited Thies-Est to inaugurate the statue of Lat Dior. In his dedicatory speech, President Faye paid tribute to Lat Dior, a hero of the anti-colonial resistance, whose feats, he declared, remain etched in Senegal's collective memory. Titled the Damel, or King, of Cayor, Lat Dior fought colonial France fiercely and tenaciously for more than a quarter of a century. Thiès was a staging area for his army in a memorable battle of 1863. 25 years later, he died with weapons in hand, embodying the motto, "They kill us, but they do not dishonor us." Today, he is a Senegalese national hero. The following days were filled with meetings and site visits. We visited the U.S. Embassy in Dakar.
Avec l'ambassade, on a commencé une discussion avec le Secretary of State, avec aussi des International Development Organizations, des fondations, etc. Et ça, c'est à notre niveau. Right? Donc tout ça, je pense que c'est très important.
We visited Gorée Island, the historic site off Dakar that for 3 centuries had played a central role in the Atlantic slave trade.
The island is 900 meters long and 300 meters wide. All right, everybody, welcome to the slave house. So this house was originally built by the Dutch in 1776. But it was not the only slavery house around the island, because they used to have 28 slave houses like this around the island. And when came the time to sell them, they make sure that they sell them separately from their mom. All the young girls who used to come to this house, they used to first check them in the wing room to see if there were virgins or not. Now, if they noticed that they were, that's where they used to keep them, because their prices were depending on their virginity. And the second reason was upstairs was the guest house. The door that you see over there in front of you is called the door of no return. And the reason why they call it the door of no return was that back in the slavery days, once the slaves put one step out, they never come back again. Never.
Deeply moved by this grim remembrance, the delegation members then turned their attention to creating a brighter future. We got down to our core business, 4 days of work sessions with the mayor and city councilors. It was the mayor of Thies-Est, Ousmane Diagne, who set the tone of the conversations. His high-minded yet down-to-earth personality, his modesty, and his consistent emphasis on substantively improving the lives of his people were impressive to all. He seemed unlike a typical politician, and in fact, he is not one.
Élu à partir d'un parti politique, je suis membre de la société civile et nous avions fait une coalition avec des partis politiques, notamment la coalition Yewwi-Askan-Wi, qui a été la coalition révolutionnaire qui s'est battue pour que l'alternance se réalise aujourd'hui au Sénégal. Les membres de l'actuel régime, donc le président de la République, son premier ministre, sont issus des partisans de la coalition Yewwi-Askan-Wi, d'où nous sommes origines et qui a porté notre candidature pour que nous devenions maire aujourd'hui.
Well, Senegal has like the youngest president, I think, one of the youngest prime ministers. The new generation of leaders, they don't have any complex d'infériorité, vis-à-vis de l'Ouest.
I was reading that Senegal is a rare country that's never had a coup d'etat, and their very first president voluntarily ceded power and pushed democratic norms.
He was a poet, he was an intellectual, put more emphasis on intellectual richness. This is the legacy of Léopold Sédar Senghor.
The mayor's grand ambition to elevate Thies-Est's schools, too, is obstructed by their chronic underfunding. Only 21 elementary schools must serve thousands of students, with more than 100 per class. Computers are almost absent. Even basic sanitation, toilets, are insufficient. Hunger often keeps children from learning or even showing up. French remains the official language, yet Wolof dominates daily life. Children must straddle two tongues, one inherited from colonial rule, the other rooted in family. Education here is not just about diplomas. It's about dignity, opportunity, and a future where every child's learning can lead somewhere.
Ce qui marche aujourd'hui et quels sont les défis?
Bon, le défi, c'est qu'on n'a pas suffisamment de salles de classe. Et parfois, quand on arrive à aménager d'autres salles de classe, l'effectif des enseignants aussi ne suit pas. Donc, on a essayé un peu d'améliorer, mais il va falloir améliorer davantage le cadre, mettre des allées et puis fleurir davantage, mettre suffisamment de fleurs
Nous allons visiter tout à l'heure aussi, parce que dans nos écoles, le principal souci pour les enfants aussi, c'est surtout les toilettes. Il n'y a pas suffisamment de blocs d'hygiène pour les enfants.
In Thies-Est, gaining access to healthcare is a daily struggle. With 165,000 residents, the commune has only 3 ambulances and 10 health posts. Patients needing an ultrasound must travel to Dakar, hours away, an expense that few can afford. The list of shortages is long. Medications for hypertension and diabetes, sterilizers, wheelchairs, even crutches. Since 2008, the Vermont National Guard has conducted a program of medical exercises in Senegal called MEDREX in preparation for a possible global medical emergency. The MEDREX exercise of 2024 was a mission of medical providers from the Vermont and New Hampshire National Guards, as well as from the Austrian Armed Forces. They worked with regional teams in Senegal, in Kédougou and Tambacounda, as well as with providers from the Senegalese Armed Forces. In civilian hospitals, they assisted in the operating rooms, as well as with standard care, taking vital signs. They performed fetal ultrasounds. Things are done differently here due to lack of equipment and resources. They learned how to improvise and do things with less. They overcame language barriers and became successfully integrated. Senegal has a public health system with facilities in 3 tiers. In villages, there are community health huts. Then at the small city level, there are health posts, or postes de santé in French. Then in big cities are the larger regional hospitals. Thies-Est has 10 mid-level health posts. The mayor's administration is in the process of building several new ones. Chief of Staff Moore Guy explains.
En 2021, la commune était à 10 postes de santé. Mais depuis l'arrivée de la nouvelle équipe, ils ont mis en place une politique qu'on appelle un quartier, un poste de santé.
Our delegation visited a brand new health post. Kadid Yatunu told me, "This is Health Post Fayu 1. It's new, it was just recently built. That's why you don't see any people hospitalized here. It's inadequately supplied with water, so the administration is planning to drill boreholes. We need mattresses and hospital beds." I asked El Haj Dembasek about the problems the post is experiencing. The biggest problems are with the equipment. We really need to upgrade it. We need ultrasound machines, and we also need medications. If we had support to improve our equipment and to buy medications and to better equip the maternity ward, that would truly be an excellent thing. Visitors to Senegal expecting a patriarchal society are often surprised by the dramatic visibility of women in the positions of power they hold. A parity law requires equal gender representation in politics. When Thies-Est tried to seat only men in leadership, women's groups went to court and won. Today, the deputy mayor is a woman. Girls now dominate at the top of lists of exam scores. Women run cooperatives, manage markets, serve in the army. In a Muslim-majority society that allows polygamy, their leadership is striking and irreversible. The commune gifted us, as visitors, with special clothing to wear for a later formal event. We visited a dressmaker where we 3 women chose dresses.
C'est joli.
That's my Thies-Est.
C'est joli.
And I have Thies.
Nice. No, maybe.
S-Est quelle va faire?
maa ngi tudd Yaay Marie Sane dëkk Thiès je suis couturière ici à Thiès bu fi nit ñi ñëwee liñ gën a bëgg ci man client liñ gën a tàmm ci man mooy dama nekk nit koo xamante ne amaana même boo ma indilee modèle man duma xool li sama morom def man tout le temps damay créer li fi nekk samay inspiration la damay créer di xool daal lu mu gën a rafetee ma def noonu ci lépp mu nekkoon nag nit ku baax macha allah bi may ubbi bitig bi gaa metti woon ma ndax liggéey bi nekkoon na loo xamante ne du lu ma jàng tout le temps damay am inspiration.
Then came an unforgettable evening, starting with live music at Serafina. Outfitted in our new Senegalese finery, we danced in celebration of our new friendship. We exchanged tokens of respect and goodwill.
Merci beaucoup.
Tout ça, c'était très gentil. Nous sommes très honorés d'être ici. Mais
But the night was still young. At midnight, we were transported to an all-night Muslim ritual observance. Religion in Senegal is in some ways paradoxical. 95% of the population is Muslim, yet Sunday, not Saturday, is the day of rest. A legacy of colonialism. Christians and Muslims share holidays and ceremonies. Catholic and Muslim institutions coexist. The result is a harmony that also surprises many visitors. If religion is a paradox, it is also an anchor. Marabouts, spiritual guides, play central roles in civic life. The Burlington delegation joined Ali Dieng, native to Senegal, at a birthday vigil for his marabout. Hundreds of worshippers prayed and sang in a fervent all-night ceremony. Leopold Senghor's philosophy of negritude, linking African spirituality to universal humanism, insisted that faith should enrich, not divide. Still, one continuing religious practice remains highly disturbing. In both Thies-Est and Dakar, clerics send young boys, called talibés, out into the streets to beg coins for their madrasa. These boys, usually orphans, some as young as 5, are abused and exploited by the very elders upon whom they depend. The reality of their plight is a glaring flaw in a proud tradition of religious service. Mayor Danya's administration is committed to giving talibés a secular education with a path to employment. It may not sit well with some elder Muslims.
Surtout pour les enfants, pour les talibés qui sortent des daras. Parce qu'il faut préciser qu'au Sénégal, il y a les enfants qui sont scolarisés à l'école française, l'école de Jules Ferry, mais il y a d'autres parents qui préfèrent mettre leurs enfants au niveau des daras pour qu'ils apprennent le Coran. Ces enfants-là, une fois les études coraniques terminées, parfois ils peuvent exercer d'autres activités que le commerce, ou bien à leur tour aller enseigner le Coran. Pour ces enfants-là, nous pensons qu'après l'apprentissage du Coran, ils peuvent bel et bien se faire former au niveau des lycées techniques dans la langue de leur choix, que ce soit le Wolof, le Pulaar, le Sérère, le Mandiak ou ailleurs, dans des métiers comme le froid, la métallurgie, la mécanique et autres. Dès l'année prochaine, dans l'ouverture des classes prochaines, nous inscrire sur cette dynamique-là pour qu'au moins, une fois en classe, au niveau, quand tu as le niveau de la classe terminale, pour que tu puisses au moins maîtriser un métier qui pourra te permettre d'avoir un emploi et d'être compétitif sur le marché de l'emploi.
The case of the talibés illustrates a generational clash between traditional religion and young people's embrace of renewal and secular modernity. As in all societies undergoing transition, it will take time and will and energy that the youth seem to possess. Senegal takes pride in its continuing democratic tradition. While its neighboring states have all experienced coups d'etat, Senegal remains immune, rendering it unique in West Africa. For one thing, its army has held to a republican commitment, refusing to throw in with would-be autocrats, even in moments of tension. In Vermont, citizen democracy lives in town meetings, where neighbors debate budgets and bylaws. In Senegal, it lives in the streets, where youth movements force corrupt leaders to step aside. Two places, two traditions, different, yet linked by the same belief that people must govern themselves. The Sister City Partnership will live not in headlines, but in classrooms, clinics, markets, and homes, and in the steady rhythm of two disparate communities growing together and learning from one another.